We're back with another episode on the WP Minute, Solopreneur Stories with Mark Zemansky, Fireside Chat, limited edition, random episodes. Oh, God, somebody's ringing the doorbell. Let me check my... Oh, this guy's here right now? Oh, wait. Hold on a second. I'll be right back.
Pause for station identification.
Can I pause it? Pause. Affiliate deals, affiliate links, Mark. That's going to be the first topic. We get a lot to cover. I've got limited time. So do you. We were just riffing offline about as a solopreneur, creator, business, I don't like affiliate links. I don't like the business of affiliate links unless I had, millions of page views or maybe, millions or hundreds of thousands of YouTube subscribers, because I think it cheapens the deal between the creator and the product/brand. Minutes ago, before we hit record, one of my lovely pillar sponsors, Elementor, sent out an affiliate email. Let me see if I can just pull it up. Be the first to earn with Elementor's new tool, right? And this is what I don't like with the affiliate stuff, because it's just this push en masse to these creators, and now they'll have all of these affiliate creators just going out and, splattering the YouTubes with content. And I just want to be paid for trusted content that I put out for partners and for brands. I go deeper with my connection with Elementor, in fact, as a partner. So that's my short take on why I don't like affiliates.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really fully agree with it, but we never really fully agree.
It makes the show great, Mark.
I know, it's great. It's fantastic. So I think, as you're talking about some of those things, writing some random notes down, I think that the idea that anybody could generally join an affiliate program kind of levels the playing field for people that want to make money talking about products and content. So in a way, I think that's kind of like a nice thing. I hearken back to when, less people than now cared about what I had to say and watched what I had to say and stuff, right? When I was like earlier on. And I was thinking, wow, as soon as I found out that you could just go to Amazon, sign up for an affiliate account, and then just put links, share links to your products and like talk about the things that you're using, I was like, wow, this is like a really cool way to just share when you're first starting out. Like, hey, I bought this thing or I use this thing. It's really good for this, and this reason. I think it'd be really good for you because of these reasons. And here's a link if you want to use it. No obligation, but if you want to, no extra cost to you, but I'll get a couple bucks just for providing that value. So especially at first, I think it's really cool. Moving forward, obviously, once you get to the point where you feel confident enough or you have the audience enough that you can ask for sponsorship from companies and you can get paid directly for doing something, like that is something you should probably take advantage of. And I'm already in that stage, right, as an example, and you've been in it for a long time. Like, that is cool, but the problem that I've run into is like the relationship thing is great, but then if somebody's paying you money, there almost becomes like paying you money up front, there almost becomes in certain cases almost a little bit of a conflict of interest, because they're paying you and they're expecting either brand awareness or conversions or something like that. It becomes more of like an actual like business transaction, which is fine, but it puts it in a weird spot where now they have, especially if you don't do this well, which I've fucked up many times, they have like almost more creative control over the content that you're putting out. I feel like in the affiliate game, everybody complains about like shills, like, that you say like, just like, hey, you're just putting affiliate links in there just to put affiliate links in there. You don't even care about the product. I don't endorse that. But I do think that if I looked at any product right now that had an affiliate program, didn't have an affiliate program, I looked at it, I really like it, and I want to talk about it, going the route of just it's even faster because you can just talk about the value. You can click record, talk about the value, throw the affiliate link in there and be, hey guys, listen, put this together for you. Here's all my thoughts. If you want to help support the channel, click the affiliate link. If not, no worries. Now, it's not a good business model. Like, obviously, like you said, like you'd need a lot more views, a lot more traffic to make it like really like super sustainable. But I don't see any problem with doing that and supplementing with that. And I do think in a lot of ways it could be more genuine if you're not a shill.
Yeah, I mean, I think you have a fair argument for people who just want to like get into the game, which I guess I never had, really thought of it from that side of it. Is just like, well, yeah, if you're just trying to get started and you want to try to monetize your content and you do have a tool you like why not do it? I guess I've just from being in the space for so long that I just like if I'm going to put in the effort to recommend something, then I want it to either be because I really love the product, which by the way, like 90% of the time that's what it is. And then like if I'm really going to do like a series of content, like I really want to show off like what this does personally, like I would knock on the door of that brand. Like if I'm going to put in the effort to really represent a product I know and love, then I would want to be sponsored. That's just my opinion. I mean, if I'm trying to run a content business, if I'm just like whatever, like if I'm just like cool, like I kind of make YouTube videos here and there or whatever, and maybe I'm running a freelance business, but then I make a couple videos on say Elementor or whatever, and I have an affiliate link, fine, like that's whatever. Like you just get a little kickback every now and again. But I think if you're like trying to build trust in an audience and your own brand in content, sure, I guess starting with that affiliate link as you're, putting your toe in the water for a little bit, but then I would say like, look, if you're going to be serious about this and you want to put like quality content out and really hang your hat on it, I would knock on the door of the brand and be like, what can we do from a sponsorship deal?
I agree with your approach, and I think that obviously you're very experienced in this area, and you come from sales and you'd want to do that, and that's important. I just think that like this is a gross overgeneralization and oversimplification of this, but I'm going to put it out there and just to get your thoughts. Let's say that you find a product that you really like. There's a couple of them that you mentioned like offline, right?
Yeah.
That you would be an affiliate for, right? So those are the archetype of the product that you would actually want to go the extra mile to like potentially work with, right? Like I'm thinking in your mind, it's like, okay, I really love XYZ. I could
Savvy
be their
Cal
affiliate.
and Transistor. Savvy Cal and Transistor.
So Transistor. I really love Transistor. Fantastic. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever reached out to Transistor to do a sponsorship?
Yes.
And what was the answer?
It was no.
Okay. Thank you for proving my point, Matt Medeiros. I appreciate that. That is what my point is like, this isn't, again, this is oversimplified. However, I just feel that if a product is so good in this niche and more so in like the SaaS space in general, it's like these, the only one that I've seen do it is like Claude. It's like Claude is good. It's objectively good. People love it. It's not like the top dog, but I do say that they do like actual sponsored things. I know we're outside the realm of like kind of WordPress and podcasting, but just stick with me. Just like those types of SaaS products. The thing is, if a product is good enough for people to actually love it, I don't think they're willing to sponsor that often. That again, super oversimplified, but it just seems to me it's like the people that are willing to spend the money are the people that like don't have this alluring fan base that are already doing that. And I feel like that's kind of the issue is that you're saying that, you want to work with people, build relationships. I'm all for that. And I want to do that as well. But like those ones that are like the fucking diamonds, they know that they have the leverage. So they're not throwing the sponsorship money around. And then that ends up being a problem if you want to talk about it and make money, because then the only way that you could do that is through affiliate, because they probably do have an affiliate program because it's no risk to them.
Right. You have to understand my background and why I hate corporations is because my father ran a General Motors dealership, and General Motors would just force stuff on you, right? This is this is like right before like the Escalade got like super popular, right? We were a Chevy and Cadillac dealership, and the only thing that sold from Chevy at the time were Chevy trucks, cars, sport utility vehicle, everything else was just whatever. I mean, maybe the Tahoe and the Suburban, but that's considered in the truck class. So this like looking at brands that just so like I have leverage over, the market is threaded in the fabric of my, hate for that kind of positioning. Because the affiliate game is to me, for the majority of creators, the deck is stacked against them, because if I start to think about how consumers, how I research stuff, it's going to be like, let me queue up a bunch of, YouTube videos or review on a thing. Opus Clips, for example. It's just like, man, I watched a bunch of videos. I talked to you about it. You probably have an affiliate link for it. I didn't even use it because I just had signed up or whatever. But that's my point, is there's like, the consumer just goes through a bunch of content these days, reads a bunch of reviews, maybe then check something on Reddit. And then maybe in the Reddit context, they're more apt to click a link in Reddit because you're reading stuff and you're like, okay, fine, let me just go click this and finally sign up. Like, I just feel like the whole buyer journey is different than, oh, I just watched Mark's video and he convinced me. I mean, that will happen, I guess, but for very few. I mean, I saw that with my Replit video. Like two of my Replit videos or Bolt videos where I purposely said, like, just trying, I can't even do it, right? I can't even do it when I'm making videos, but I tried to, say at the top of the video, hey, if you really like this, I have an affiliate link. Doesn't cost you anything extra. I get credits, you get credits if you sign up, yada, whatever. And those videos, I don't know, have tens of thousands of views, and it's a hot topic these days, like AI. And there was like 3 people that clicked the link, and I don't even know if they converted. I convert more on my SavvyCal affiliate link than I do on any other AI tools that I've been recommending lately. And I think that it's just like that buyer's journey is stacked against the content creator, where the brand gets more of that leverage and awareness. I don't know. It's just, I know it's just me, and there's a lot of people who just do it and don't even think about it. I tend to think about it. And once again, like sponsored content, I agree with you. There are probably people out there who get sponsored and just shill for the company. Elementor sponsors me. Pillar sponsor. They just came on board like 2 weeks ago. I have no problem, and I tell them up front, I am still a critic in the space. If there's something I'm going to say, like being critical of their affiliate program, I'm still going to say it. But that's just me, and maybe other people don't. And I'm sure that other people don't. They just get sponsored and they shill away.
I mean, a lot of thoughts there. The first, I'm going to go backwards. The last thing that you just said there was like sponsors and you saying bad things about them. Not bad things, but things like that are critical. Like, okay, if you can get away with doing that with a sponsor, then that's a good sponsor. But I don't think all sponsors are like that, especially people that are like more like brands that are newer to like influencers, like marketing and sponsorships and all that, because there's some that are so protective of their image that they do not want you to even come close to doing anything that's even partially critical. Like not even ask a question almost about like, why are they doing this or like something. So that is one of the things that I hate the most, because I cannot be told what to or not to say. It is just in me. I can't do that. So that's one tough spot of the sponsorship thing. Going back real quickly to the affiliate thing with Replit, I think that the worst thing about affiliate stuff is that depending on what the token, the cookie type is, like first or last, click attribution or whatever, and all these other things, everyone is different. The issue there is like somebody could have watched your Replit video and then watched the next Replit video, even clicked on both of your affiliate links, and whoever was first or last, however it's set up, like that's obviously kind of shitty. That's not an ideal way to build like a business off of that. However, I do think there's a little bit of an inconsistency slightly in, or let me just question your thought process on some of this. Like when you make content, you are extremely big into the idea of the body of work, which I love, and I've taken that to like pretty much every aspect of my life here with a lot of the stuff that I do. So like you're talking about body of work, but like if you're talking about in a vacuum, it's like when you're talking about affiliate stuff, it's like you're zooming in into a vacuum where it's like this piece of content has to make me money, when I don't feel like that's indicative of your entire content strategy, though. And I'm not picking on you here. I'm just trying to get your thoughts on this. Like, you put out a ton of content. Not all of it makes you money. But, like, if you put out, like, 6 Replit videos, there's obviously a higher chance that people are going to watch more of your Replit content, potentially click on the links, and you're going to have more of an authority, like, just in that little micro niche than you would if you just tried to throw out one Replit video. Yeah, I mean, if you throw out one Replit video, you throw an affiliate link in there, why the hell would you expect to get any stuff? It's like, yeah, you're not going to convert somebody on one video, but
yeah, sure. But I mean, I think what you do, I think you're making my point because it just has to be so much content for so little return, right? In order for those numbers to stack up.
Okay, but let me pause you for a second. Okay, so let's talk about this. You wanted to make Replit content because you love Replit and you are using it a lot, right?
Sure, right.
Did you send them an email to sponsor you?
No, I mean, they're not
gonna sponsor you. So
well,
it's like,
I mean,
what's the alternative?
I don't know. How do I know? I'm just not targeted on like, I mean, my whole business is built around like working with mostly WordPress hosts. So I don't really have an approach to going to like an AI company and be like, hey, you want to, I mean, I could, I have no problem doing it. I just don't have any plans
maybe you
to
could
do it.
now. You've done a few videos. I mean, maybe you could now.
Yeah.
I think you should.
Yeah. Yeah,
but
I could.
Again, though, I don't know. But here's the thing. Again, it's like that's a hot product. It's extremely like, right now, and they're probably like all those types of companies are probably blowing up with just interest, even.
Yeah.
So it's like, are they going to deploy those funds to do the sponsorship stuff? Probably not.
Well, probably not because they, like you said before, I understand that they have the leverage right now because you have a zillion people, including what's his face that I sent you yesterday, Eisenberg, just dumping content, about every little thing that they're making on these AI platforms. So yeah, they have the leverage. I've built a model of like looking at, say, WordPress web hosts who need, whatever, my insights, our audience insights, and like professionally developed content so that they can gain trust in the space. Like, I'm not trying to knock on the door of like some hot tech startup where everyone's covering, because I know I'm going to have a low success rate with like, hey, 20,000 subscribers on YouTube. Do you want to sponsor my show? Or you want to sponsor a couple of episodes? Like, I know I'm going to lose. And my business model isn't built for that space. Not to say I wouldn't try.
So, okay. So you said in there though, that one of your main things that you're kind of like calculating for is obviously building a content business, but like, did you say in there that trust from your audience is one of your biggest things?
Correct.
Okay. So like in two worlds where you have a sponsorship where somebody has paid you money to make like a dedicated video or even an integration or whatever, they've paid you money up front to do that versus you actually care enough to make content about something knowing that you're not going to get a return on it. There's no guarantee you would get a return on it in the affiliate model. Are you saying that you believe that people are going to trust you more in the sponsorship realm, in the sponsorship example versus the affiliate thing? Because I would disagree with that.
I don't know how to answer that because when you sponsor me, or when you sponsor the WP Minute, it is literally about saying you like the work that we do and you want us to continue creating content for WordPress professionals. That is how I position and sell sponsorship at the WP Minute. Like, if you look at our body of work and you say they do great work, they support WordPress professionals, by the way, we need great WordPress professionals to buy our products too, then let's sponsor the WP Minute. And then 30% of that budget, let's say, is dedicated to me to create a piece of content for them. And that piece of content could be a podcast episode, it could be a live stream, it could be a YouTube video. Like, obviously it depends on sponsorship and like what we're doing. So in my world, it's working for me, but in my world, it's not just a one-to-one. Like, you're not just sponsoring me and I make a piece of content for you and it's gone. Like, when you sponsor me, it's your logo sits in the newsletter and our website for a year. And you're saying, we vote to support you for a year. And that is a bulk of that sponsorship. And then a portion of it goes to, hey, Matt will make will feature us or, have a sponsored thing that happens somewhere within that year. And I'm very clear and upfront about that, like when we're doing that. So if it's a sponsored live stream, it's like, this is what we're doing. It's never just, I'll make 6 videos for you throughout the year and, here it is. Yeah, I mean, that's just the way that I've positioned the WP Minute. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying it's right. It's just how I've done it.
Yeah. Well, again, I think that with the affiliate thing, the problem with all of this is that we are deeply ingrained in this, and there's like the people that we're actually talking to most of the time don't really understand the nuance of like sponsorship versus affiliate and all that. So we're kind of like still guessing. We're in our own little echo chamber, if you will, of like figuring out
This guy knows how to segue. This guy knows how to segue.
So I don't even know the topic list.
Yeah, I'll put a bow on the affiliate stuff. Like I do, like we said before, like I love SavvyCal and I like Transistor, but my affiliate, the way that I would do affiliates, and yeah, I probably on my to-do list, which is a mile long for the WP Minute, somewhere in there is probably like set up a recommended tools page like everybody else. Like it makes sense because I answer the same questions a million times too. What's your podcast setup? What's your favorite like calendar link? What do you use to record? You know, what do you live stream with? Like, you know, I get all of those questions constantly. So I probably should set up a recommended tools page. And in that environment, fine. Like I don't mind that. I just haven't come around to do it. But like how I've done affiliate so far is like whenever you use, like you need a calendar booking app, freaking SavvyCal, man, please use my link. You know, because I mean, I don't even beg for it. I'm just like, hey, if you're going to sign up, use my link. But I think it's a fantastic tool, and I have no problem recommending them. Same thing with Transistor, RSS.com, you know, and a handful of other WordPress products. I mean, Gravity Forms, if I wasn't an employee. But yeah, like that's how I do it. It's just like word of mouth kind of thing, for me anyway. But recommended tools page, I'm gonna bump up the priority on that.
Yeah,
on the to-do list
I definitely need one of those
and get it done. Fantastic. Let's because again we have limited time today. Echo chamber. We've been talking about. Well, the community's been talking about it. A few people in the community. An echo chamber of echo chambers has happened, and I put out a Matt Report podcast last night, sharing some thoughts on this in anticipation for us to record today. We saw. Imran Siddiq. How do you say his last name? Do you know how to say his last name?
Imran Siddiq, I think. Imran Siddiq, yeah.
Web Squadron posted a video last week about questioning the idea of WordPress being in an echo chamber. Remkis responded about sort of like his view on it in this like editorial decision to say like, oh, you know, if I'm not covering particular content creators, it's because like I have this like dialed in path, which is whatever, that's fine. And then I put out, you know, my thoughts last night on the podcast episode, which I'll link up here for some like deeper insights to that, which I agree that there's an echo chamber. I agree that it happens. To me, it's just like human nature. And I think what we have to do is sort of split the mind of like the content creator who analyzes how they're perceiving the echo chamber, and like really unpacking that and wondering if the content consumer is seeing an echo chamber. Like, are they stuck in the path of the echo chamber, or is it just the content creators going, there's an echo chamber, because we're analyzing how content is, because it's our job to like kind of analyze how content is either being amplified or not. And my question in the podcast is, well, perhaps the audience doesn't see the echo chamber because they are tuned into multiple paths. But I don't know if you have any thoughts you want to share first, and then we can kind of unpack our different viewpoints.
I mean, just at the top there, I mean, you know, as soon as I kind of like saw Imran's video and I just like looked at how everybody was talking about it, I mean, yeah, I just think that the click thing is 100% human nature. That is in every aspect of every life, because everybody's kind of like preconditioned based on their lived experience and everything. And then it's literally just whatever they find. Like whenever they get here, as an example, it's like, okay, somebody told you about Elementor, so you started using Elementor. That's where I started. And then, oh, I found some Bricks stuff and I started using Bricks. Like, it's just like, it depends on where you're at in your life cycle to some degree. It also depends on where you want to go. So it's like, I think that is extremely natural from that click perspective that just ends up forming. I mean, it happens in high school. It happens in workplace. Like, it's wherever. You bring up an interesting point there, though, that I'm sure we'll dive into. I'll just give my high level here. You were talking about creator perspective on it versus consumer perspective on it effectively. Like, we think about this shit, and you've said this. I think you said this in the podcast episode. Like, you watch like literally everything. So your mind is constantly, you're not even like really I'm speaking for you here a little bit, but I think I'm on the right track. Like you as an example, Matt, you are not even consuming the stuff to learn stuff anymore. Like you are, but you're more like so in the weeds and in the meta of each video and each piece that people are talking about and you're reading, that you're trying to like understand what these people are thinking and what they're doing, not just from like the content they're putting out, but as the content creator. And I think as a hypothesis, most consumers, like the run of the mill, WP Minute member or the run of the mill like WordPress user, they either don't have the time, bandwidth, or energy to be in that wavelength because they're running a business that's outside the confines of like creating content and actually learning more about the WordPress ecosystem or how all this shit actually like works underneath the hood. That's why you always say, again, like there's 10,000 people that actually really care about that part. And that's not like a true 10,000 because there's people that are probably like more and less involved in that number. So that just goes to say that I think that we see these things and they're like so visible to us because we're in them and we understand it. But a lot of other people, I really don't think they would see it as much. That said, last point is that they absolutely could be in those clicks, but they don't see it the same way because they're just more like, I don't know a good way to describe it. It's just, again, just like a member of the clique rather than somebody that's actually analyzing what is going on. And I'm not saying that's good or bad. It's just, but that is, I feel like the reality. Not everyone is as tuned in and as analytical as everyone at every single point of this.
Yeah, I mean, WordPress, the community, and I said this in the podcast episode. I'll try to surmise it here for brevity's sake, but I think a lot of people have to detach themselves from WordPress, the open source piece of software, and this open community that we have. I think people feel they have too much feelings. They're too emotional for WordPress itself. Like they feel like they should have a say in the direction of the software, and they feel like they're maybe either owed some kind of whatever, like they're owed a feature, they're owed a shout out, they're owed like if they're developing a product, like, well, WordPress should be thinking about how I'm like nothing is owed, right? It's the WordPress software stands alone as open source, and then there's the WordPress community. This is how I see it, and this is how I recommend other people think about it too, because when you get too attached to that piece of software, that's when your decisions start to get, or your thought process gets a little cloudy. At least it has for me. I think when, and I think it was Imran's video where he said something like, there's something to do with Elementor, and I'm paraphrasing, and it might not have been him. It might have been somebody else in his thread. I can't really remember, but it's sort of like, well, WordPress, WordPress doesn't amplify like things that are happening. It's always Gutenberg. It's not Elementor. It's not Beaverbill. It's not Divi. It's not taking into account all these things. It shouldn't have to. Like Gutenberg is WordPress. Like that's what it is. So therefore, like you must understand the project has to evolve. The project cannot be thinking about in its entirety like the whole ecosystem. It is being built knowing that an ecosystem exists, but it doesn't have to cater to just or to all of these products. Same way that these products don't cater to WordPress fully. Like they build their own UI and experiences and onboarding. They do all this stuff because they know WordPress can't do it. So the point is like, I think that the community does really well. In fact, I think the community does really well of amplifying other things. You let the community do that. You don't look to WordPress or even like the core contributor team to do that. You look at the community to do that. And by the way, I said this in the thing. I know Imran was saying it's not a rant, but I believe it is because he cares about creating content to a degree. He cares about what he's doing. And yeah, you want your stuff to get shared. It's just like we're in the business of content. Content is freaking hard because there's so many of us. It's a low entry point barrier to get into it. And you compete not only with like other WordPress creators, but you compete with all these other YouTube creators when you're in that environment, and you compete with like traditional media. Like if somebody's going to sit down and watch a WordPress video at the end of their day, they're going to be like, well, I'm either going to watch Matt talk about Gutenberg, I'm going to watch Casey Neistat do something amazing in New York City, or I'm going to turn on Netflix and watch something else, or I'm going to watch Good Golf or something like totally like unrelated. So you're in this like this constant like heavy competition. So I think the community does well amplifying. I do agree that there's clicks, and it's just human nature, and it's something that I struggled with in the beginning, still struggle with today a little bit, but I am heads down focused on like what we do at the WP Minute for servicing WordPress professionals. So I get his points. Yes, there are echo chambers. That's how I titled my podcast episode. And we all just have to do our best with our content. I don't know. I've got really, I'll again link up the podcast episode where I go into it deeper, but it is what it is with these echo chambers.
I think it's kind of it's kind of like a net loss situation, because WordPress as an ecosystem and, as a community is so big now that how could you expect, like, somebody is going to be pissed. You know what I mean? Like actually never talking about, I don't know if this is exactly the case. I feel like I hear Matt Mullenweg occasionally, he'll bring up some level of something that's not automatic. You know what I mean? Like that's not like project. It's, he'll like mention somebody like how's like somebody else doing something in somewhat of a positive light. I can't think of an exact example. But like if WordPress shared things from any company that is outside of their, the project or automatic, then people would immediately get pissed. You know what I mean? It's like you say something about, I don't know, GoDaddy or something, and then they get mad about, this other thing over like that somebody else didn't get, that. So I think that it's just so big now that they can't really say anything. And it's probably better like that they don't share a lot of that stuff. From the content side of things, it is obviously all Gutenberg, because that's the project, and that's the thing that they need to educate people on, because while it's not a product technically, it is the thing that people would come to WordPress or understand WordPress to be about at the actual core of it. Yeah, I don't know. It's not an easy one. I'm not really sure what the ultimate goal would be, from like Imran's ideas. Is it just to just share more that's not straight up Gutenberg content? And is it like a disadvantage if you don't make Gutenberg core related content, then you're never going to get a look, so to speak, from WordPress? I don't know. Maybe that's the case. But I don't know.
I also think it's kind of funny where, listen, I mean, I don't even know him, Imran. I don't even think I've ever been on like a show with him or a panel. Maybe a podcast. I don't even know. Maybe the Tonic. I don't remember ever being in like the same room with him. But I think it's funny that a guy that has 140,000 YouTube subscribers is saying like, he's not. It has like this feeling of like not getting any support. And to me, I'm just like, well, I mean, I got 20,000 subscribers and I've been doing this for 17 years. I choose to do my content about, again, WordPress professionals, the community happenings of WordPress, and the economy of WordPress. These are not things like when I look at Imran, Paul Charlton, also been on the podcast. I look at these guys who have built large audiences talking mostly about page builders that aren't core WordPress. And I see the size of their audience. Good for them, right? People don't, what I'm getting at is I create content for that very small and narrow lane, which I think is valuable in my own personal opinion. But it's not like this broader audience. And I never really see those guys share my stuff or even like fully understand how the inner workings of this community come together. And by the way, I sit in the middle. I've talked to you about this before. Like, I sit in the middle of, folks like that, Page Builder community, Elementor community, Bricks community, like all of these sort of end users who don't really understand or even care about how the inner workings of WordPress works, because they're just trying to build their web business and use WordPress fine, but also really majority of them don't really understand or care to understand because they're just trying to run a business, and that's fine. And I sit in between them and these core developers. And these core developers who don't even look at these people out here, don't even listen to my point of view, right? So I've been making content that I feel nobody cares about, for 20 or almost 20 years, where the core developers even look at my stuff and they're just like, oh, you're not a developer. We're not going to, listen to you. Like, I feel that stuff too, but I march on and I try to serve the audience that I have, knowing that, listen, I'm going to tell both parties what's happening in my lane and how, power users of WordPress like myself, agency owners to a degree, how they're using WordPress and how this is all affecting them. I said this in the podcast. When I go to WordCamps, I'll stand next to Rich Tabor, Nick Diego, and, some other folks who are like the Gutenberg developers, the more hardcore developers in WordPress, and just be like, here's my thoughts, guys. Like, this is what's going on with me. This is how I use the software. Take it or leave it. And I try to, give my point of view and trickle in some of this feedback from Page Builder users. I don't understand fully the Page Builder landscape either. I feel like a lot of people just jump ship for a bunch of features or a free, faster tool that promises to give you like 12 more add-ons, and I don't get it. But I know people love new software, and that's what happens in that space. So at the end of the day, like, yeah, echo chambers exist, and it's up to you to reach out. He said something about like uplifting creators. This is a tough topic for me because I really like I do feel so passionate about this stuff, but I have supported small creators like with my money. And once again, like, I don't really ever see these other YouTube creators, other newsletters, like sharing content from other content creators or sponsoring other content creators. I mean, I'm probably a fool for doing it, but it's important to me to like WP Founders, guys. I think they do a great job. They haven't given up. They're putting out great content. And I go, yes, I'll sponsor you. And other smaller creators that I've sponsored along the way, like, I'm taking my sponsorship money, very little of it, and then sponsoring other people. It's one of those things where, like, I do it because I want them to survive, and I want the ones that haven't given up to do a great job. And I think that some people say, like, oh, we're not really supporting people. I don't really see other content creators supporting other people either. I don't know. I don't want to get too much on a rant. If you're out there listening to this and you're a WordPress content creator and you really want my insights, we can book a time and chat because I've got a lot of thoughts on it. But I just care too much about the content and the audience, and I look at WordPress as a very important piece of software for a lot of people. Whereas I would say Imran, again, like the guy, but I think he looks at, like, this is just a tool to build a website. That's it. I see a piece of software that allows people to publish words on the internet in an open source fashion for the freedom of publishing. That's how I see it. I don't just see it as, oh, I'm going to make money with an agency. I'll get off my soapbox.
Yeah, I mean, the last part is true. You definitely do see it like that more than I feel like most people. I can't say that I see it as clearly as you do, and I think it's because also you've been here for a long time and you understand that, like many other people do, and are trying to preserve that. More existential topic. I don't really believe that the world is trending in that manner. I think it's trending away from that, and I don't think that's right. I just think that that's kind of where it's headed, because nothing is open source. I mean, like there is open source things, but I'm saying like it seems like it's less and less, and like just the way that things are going where you can just build whatever you want, and like I don't know. So it's a whole nother topic. Yeah, I think to just summarize, yeah, I think the clicks thing is human nature. I think WordPress is huge, and it's very difficult for it to actually take care of all its children, so to speak, or like promote all of its like things that are in its ecosystem. I don't think that's necessarily really reasonable at this point, and yeah, it's just a weird. It is a hard business though. Like we talked about before, the affiliate versus sponsorship stuff. Now we're talking about like this level of the content thing and like understanding like who and just how everything evolves. It's not an easy business, so it's tough all the way around. Yeah.
One of the things that I'm really seeing trending, which is something that we've touched upon in the past, and especially you with like sponsored content or especially sponsored videos, is that I think years ago, and by years ago I mean maybe like 3, 4, potentially 5 sponsors, people were sponsoring WordPress content creators more freely, or it was much easier, I think, to get WordPress sponsorship, in-kind sponsorship, right? And that's how the WP Minute started, because Pressable, OmniSend, and Bluehost, when I first started, were like, yeah, like we want to sponsor this, and it was very easy. I'd say it was very easy, but it was easy for me, and I'm not trying to say that in like a condescending way. It was just like they were willing to do it. And I think as like the economy changed and AI came in, and then we got the lawsuit and all this stuff, and a lot of uncertainty around WordPress over the course of those years, like sponsors want more, and I totally get it. And I try to find a balance of like what sponsored content means in a non sleazy way, right? Again, I'm a little lost for words today, but in a I'm not just promoting your stuff. Like, you want us to continue to do the work, and I'm going to put out something nice and professional for you. And I think it's going to get harder for a lot of folks who are WordPress content creators to continue to secure sponsors over the next couple of years, because I think that, one, they're going to demand more. 2, the budget's going to probably tighten up for that kind of content or for that kind of spend. And 3, I think a lot of the content creators are just gonna like phase out from doing something that they started a couple of years ago that was kind of fun, and they were making some side cash, to be like, oh yeah, like this is hard work, right? Like this isn't easy. And I kind of liken this to when I started my agency a long time ago, when people were selling websites for like $500. And they sell a website for like $500 to a client, and then next thing you know, they're gone, they're done, they couldn't sustain their business. And that person who bought the website comes, crawling into our studio, and they're just like, oh, my website doesn't work anymore. I can't edit anything, can't do anything. And I'm like, well, how much did you pay for it? And they're like, $500. I'm like, well, there you go. Like, this person just took your $500, threw up a template, and left. Well, how much is it to do business with you? $5,000. Oh my God. Like, I can't afford that. And it's just like, well, if you want it done right. And I think that that's where the sponsorship economy is shifting to. Again, that's my own experience in the way that I do it, because I care.
Yeah, I mean, on that note, like content, there's a couple of different things, and obviously I'm in the thick of exploring all of this because I came from service. I came from having a skill, turning that into a service, and then starting to teach, so to speak, and share stuff, and then that just naturally ends up, if you're decent at that and you do it for long enough, you end up getting these, like, again, these sponsorship offers. Maybe you start with affiliate, and that's like the start of your content business. So I literally have those two prongs, the service side and the content side. But like the thing is that this is a little bit of minutia, but like the content business itself is extremely difficult, and dare I say, like, almost unsustainable, like in certain ways. Like, you have to like seriously build that up, obviously, as you know. But like, what I mean is, when I say content, I separate that out from, like, I would say membership, right? So content, if I say content, it's like, okay, I'm going to post YouTube videos as an example. It's either going to be sponsorships, it's going to be affiliates, or it's just going to be like ad revenue. Nothing there though. The audience is not paying anything in that model. Like that's the content business for me. But really the big thing, and the thing that's more sustainable, things that I'm trying to do and I see so many other people doing successfully, and I wonder like, okay, what is the magic formula of doing this, is moving it over to like what you've also done to some degree in the member side of things, right? And you're actually providing either a community or, exclusive training, consulting, something like that. And those are just like, each one of these models are just like really, really interesting. But the main thing is like when somebody's getting into that, I don't know, they're just, maybe they know about it, but they don't realize how much time and energy the content part takes.
Oh yeah.
Like think of all the content networks that you see, like I don't know, some ridiculous ones, like I don't know, just like Barstool Sports, completely off the top of my head, right? It's like that's like, I don't know if they have some sort of like membership program. I'm sure they have some other stuff, but like they're making money literally from just the content. So it's again ad revenue, sponsor deals, stuff like that, and that is potentially exhausting sometimes. Like I mean, it's just it's never ending because you're not getting paid from the people that are watching your stuff, but you need them. So you need to like keep them entertained and in the loop, but you're also, you're getting paid on the back end, and like, they don't have this problem probably, but it's just like, again, the sponsorship thing, because you're talking about the sleaziness. It's somebody is paying you to do something. Like they're not paying you for the content. They're paying you to get a result, whether brand awareness or conversions or whatever. And you can't blame them for wanting to get an ROI on their money.
No, absolutely
But sometimes it's difficult to either measure that, and sometimes it's difficult to come into agreement on like what that super intangible value is.
Yeah. The other challenge is you're in the WordPress space, right? So there, it's super hard to, and this is how I landed on like my model. And I'm really not trying to make this like a pitch session for my sponsorship stuff, but this is just me being transparent of how I've landed on this model, where I have, it's right on the website. So it's just two plans, right? It's $1,500 for Foundation Plus, $12,000 for Pillar sponsorship. And they're both 1 year of sponsors. And I always say that the $1,500 is the best value in the sponsorship business, because you will get a sponsored live stream. Like if you want to do a live stream and like show off your stuff, you get a great product, a new hosting dashboard, product launch. And by the way, it's for a year, so it doesn't have to be immediately unless you want it to be. But if you've got something down the road, hey, 6 months from now, we'll plan that out. Let everybody know, sponsored live stream webinar thing, and your logos go across all our newsletters, thank you credits in the podcast, you get a membership to the Slack group, network your stuff, yada, yada, yada. Right. And then Pillar sponsorship, there's more of that, and like consulting stuff that we do. And the idea is that we're kind of helping you with your product and your brand along the way. And we're being very transparent to the audience to say, like, without them, we can't do all this other content, like all the free, like agency stuff, the freelance podcast that Eric does, the agency podcast that Kurt and Toby have been doing. And we've got, future plans for some more stuff around that. We got courses coming. All of that is to say is like, in my opinion, this is the only way that I have found to humanize this relationship. Hey, audience, we need these people to fund us. Hey, sponsors, I ain't shilling for you, but you are, before we even go a step further, you're saying we want you to continue to do this great work that you do and give us some promo stuff at the end. Like, I don't see I just can't predict the future with any of this AI stuff and how people consume content, other than like making this more of a partnership on both sides with sponsors and the audience. It's not easy. It's not for everybody. I'm not saying everyone can do it. I don't even know if it's right. And where I was going with the WordPress stuff is there's not a lot of money here, right? Like a Barstool Sports, it's freaking DraftKings, right? Mm-hmm. And like all these other like massive businesses where like they have to spend this money on marketing. And by the way, the numbers are gigantic, compared to like I love Katie Keith. I think she does a great job with like all the stuff that she does on Twitter. and obviously with her business. But I bet I could never sell Katie Keith on a sponsorship to the WP Minute. Why? Because number one, like I think in the WordPress world, a lot of people are looking for a more direct, like marketing budgets aren't as big. Advertising budgets aren't as big, are non-existent. Marketing budgets are more of like a community thing and an events kind of thing. And they want more customers per dollar that they put out. Plus, and the biggest reason why Katie Keith is because she's her own marketing engine, in my opinion. Now, we would love for her to sponsor Katie, but I doubt speaking of echo chambers, I doubt Katie Keith watches the show. And that's fine. It's whatever. And she's her own marketing engine. And a lot of people in the WordPress space do, I don't want to say a lot of people, but people do what you do, what I do, what she does, which is I'm the brand, I'm the marketing engine. Nothing is going to have a better return than the efforts that I already do. Whereas my bigger sponsors, the bigger web hosts and Elementor, they need brand awareness, and they need that sort of like diversity of like where they're putting their dollars. They're not just reliant on their marketing team.
But do you?
And then I have 5 minutes because then I got to leave to get my kid.
Okay, but like I mean, just on that topic though, like when are you supposed to, in the the book of branding and awareness and marketing and brand building, when are you supposed to start branching out to do that? Like at what point in your business? Because I think that just like the tiers of size of businesses that you're talking about there are kind of different, like they're vast. So it's like, just Katie as the example. Yeah, I mean, she's the marketing, she's a big marketing driver for her business. And I love that model, honestly, like being like somebody that knows the business very well as the founder and like has, all of that. So you could talk about it, like almost like the behind the scenes thing. That's obviously what I do. And it's like, that's really good. But yeah, I mean, I guess at what point do you end up being like, oh, we're at the point now where we have to, like, the well isn't dry with where we could go, like, or where like the founder, whoever like is expressing, like you could always just do the behind the scenes and the documentation forever. But yeah, at what point do you need to start like tapping into other people's audiences? I feel like, I guess it could be early, but also again,
it certainly could be early. I just think that in her mindset, as somebody who is like doing content and building brand, that she wouldn't do it potentially like in the WordPress space, maybe now in the Shopify space. And maybe there's a point in Barn 2's trajectory and her career path where she stops doing it, and their revenue goes up obviously, and now she's not going to do it anymore, right? So now she would then turn to like, okay, I still need to keep that presence up in WordPress. And here's how I can do it. A lot of the people that sponsor the WP Minute at the Foundation Plus side of things, the $1,500 for the year, are the brands that are generating revenue. They know they need to do marketing, and they don't have a team internally to do it yet. Maybe they're ramping up to it, and their sales are going up. But I think for like a Katie Keith, Barn 2, they would have to get to like that next level. She would then take a step back, and now you just have a team with a budget to do things and to do things effectively and to measure those different channels. And maybe in her case, she is sponsoring Shopify stuff outside of the WordPress space. I'm not sure on that stuff, but
definitely interesting.
I got to go pick up my kid from tennis. He's Mark Zamansky, mjs.bio. You got anything planned? Live streams, content? God, remember those live streams you used to do?
Daily shorts, man. Yeah, we got some live streams. They pop up here and there. Make sure you got the notifications on.
Follow them for those daily shorts. The WPminute.com, the WPminute.com/subscribe. Hey, banner day yesterday with 3 new members joining the membership. The WPminute.com/support. $5 is all you need to get in to the WP Minute Slack if you want like-minded individuals who are tirelessly consuming WordPress content like myself and Mark Zamansky. Thanks for watching, everybody.